The Sly Media on this late tonight. This right here, I know I'm late on this. This is my review on Atlanta season 4, episode episode 3. Good episode of Atlanta. Very good, solid episode of Atlanta. Of course, it's the last season. Donald Glover says of Atlanta, and I'm loving this because it's back to the roots, which I like. It's back to the roots of Atlanta, so I enjoyed it. I like this episode, and I'm loving their really, back to where back to where it all started. Because like I said, I've talked about this in my last video. I didn't really care about season 3 like that. I like kind of like where they were going with it, but season 3 just didn't do it for me and all that. So let's get started on this episode. This episode pretty much we start off with Paperboy after just doing a performance. This white guy tells this older white gentleman tells tells Paperboy like Al, like, hey, my son, I think you should manage him and all and everything like that. He's an artist and I think you should do that, try to manage him and everything like that. And he says, no, I don't think about it and all that. Then the dude was like, I'll give you $1,000,000. And Al jumps at the chance of that. He's like, okay, yeah, $1,000,000. He jumps at the chance of it and all that. So he decides to go ahead and go through with it and manage the white guy and everything. This little white guy. This little white kid, I should say. He decides to try to manage him and everything like that. Or just help kind of advise him and everything like that. Then we go to Earn. Earn, like, his episode. Pretty much sorry about that, y'all. So sorry about that. Pretty much, he's like going through something. They're in a bind right now. His organization he works with as a manager, they're in a bind right now. So they feel like they need to sign somebody, helps them out, and they signed this guy named D'Angelo to help them out to get them what they need to help like clear up a situation they had and all that by signing this black artist named D'Angelo and all that. Like I said, Aaron's kind of like a little different his episode because towards the end of this episode we see with him. I'm trying to make this real quick right now, so I'm so late on it, but with him, pretty much the premise of it was he's just trying to find himself his way, like, what does he want to do with himself and all that, be a manager and everything like that. And that's why I feel his premise at the end of this series, I feel like Earn probably is going to end up going somewhere like out of state or somewhere, moving out, him and Val together and everything like that, and they get on with their life together and everything like that. So, I feel like that's what this episode is kind of talking about, hinting at what's going to happen at the end of this series and everything like that. And like I said with Earn, like when he finally meets the guy D'Angelo, it just kind of seems like he's not who he thinks he is and everything like that. So I think, like I said, it's always hitting Easter eggs in these episodes about main topics and stuff that's actually went on in the world. That's what I like what Donald Glover does with this series. It's hints at main topics and stuff that actually is going on in the world. But I feel like that's where Earn is at right now. He's going through that, and when he meets D'Angelo, that kind of helps him reevaluate himself, what he's trying to do with himself as being a manager for the most part. Now back to Al. What Al's doing is like, okay, he runs to one of the other guys I was telling him about he should join this group about helping, artists stay relevant and everything like that. Because people don't forget, a lot of times rappers, they do have like most rappers only have a good 4 or 5 year run before you're not as hot again, you're not popping no more, and sometimes people forget about you and kids and 4 or 5 years, now the new kids that go in high school, they're kind of like, oh, I grew up listening to you and all that. They're focused on the other new rapper, that hot rapper that just came out. So that's kind of how it always is, the rap music. And one of the guys tells him that, and it's a famous actor too on this show, on this episode of Atlanta State, Charles Malik. Everybody know him as Otis from the Temptations. When Leon's character is always talking about Otis, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. He's been in a lot of other movies as well, but everybody always knows Temptations as Otis. I seen him actually one time in person at my job one time too. He's a pretty cool guy as well. But like, yeah. So he's in here and he plays this guy that's in his class with his other manager and discuss about art. They get into this class and this one guy is telling them, Paperboy and all them, about success in the industry of music, and they reference Chief Keef. Chief Keef finally getting his flowers now. That people are finally really talking about Chief Keef. Like, Chief Keef really is responsible for this new sound of rap music back in 2012 I think it was, if I'm correct, when Finally Rich came out. Hold on. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to see what year Finally Rich came out, but I believe it was 2012. Yes, 2012 by Chief Keef. Finally Rich came out. That's what year Finally Rich came out in 2012. So yeah, they finally referenced him and showing about when you hit that song Finally Rich. Then his second project they talked about Bang, and then like when you become, of course, he's the father and everything like that now and all that. But that's really how the music industry does go. Like you hot 1 second, then next minute they forget about you. Jay-Z has a couple of lines when they talk about it. Nas always talks about it as well. But they reference that a lot of people when like the kid tells him when he's in the studio, one of the other kids, friends of the white guy tells him like, hey, tells him like, hey, yeah, I grew up on your music and all that, and he's looking like, dang, because you know what I'm saying, like after 3 or 4 years, yeah, people do forget about you and all and everything. You're not as how as you once were. Artists, I think like that about a lot. I'm not saying he's falling off, but people don't really talk about him and maybe listen to him that much a lot. It's Meek Mill. He did just drop an album last year, but people are not even still talking about or mentioning him that much or anything like that. And he just came out with a project last year. Some people blame the whole thing. He was locked up. Then of course he had the Drake beef and all that and everything like that. So people kind of been like, not really, of course, on Meek like that and everything like that. Then now he's having, of course, beef with his label right now. He's trying to get out his deal with his label, so he can't drop any music until he gets out of the deal with his label and all that. So he dealt with that. And then another artist has dealt with that. Rich Homie Quan, another artist has dealt with that. Like, he talks about, he was dealing a situation with his label. He couldn't drop any music. Then he had to split with Young Thug, and Young Thug, of course, free YSL Young Thug. Of course, he's locked up right now. But, of course, like, what the split happened with Thug, and Thug was taking off musically and all that. Rich Homie even talked about a lot of people stopped messing with him and everything like that. So, he's another artist that kind of fell off, and people don't listen to him like that no more or anything like that. Even though Rich Homie still has good music, the songs I've heard from him have all been good and everything like that. But I don't know if they're getting the marketing or something like that because he's independent or whatever the case may be or anything like that. People are not talking about him enough. I should say musically and all that because maybe because they have a big machine behind them or a label like that behind them anymore. But yeah, like Rich Homie, Meek Mills are good examples to me of artists that really have good music, still have good music they come out with, but people don't really bump their music anymore or listen to them like that anymore because of course maybe their label situation just because it's always like that 4 or 5 years you have that good run and then like boom you're kind of like not it no more, you go downhill and everything. So those two artists that kind of went through that and everything that like everybody doesn't, not like a Drake and all that still stays relevant to this day and everything like that, or how Wayne did. Of course Wayne and Jay-Z, they're like rap guys to me now, like on high top tier level. I feel like about Wayne, Jay-Z, and Nas and everything like that. They're all high top tier level. But someone like a Drake is a guy that no matter what, Drake is still going up getting in. I even say if Drake was independent, I still believe he'd be popping it going on. But needless to say that, but that's what what the guy goes through and all that this episode. That's what Al's character is going through this episode. When he takes the class by the guy and tells him, oh, I forgot this guy's name that he's taking the class with. I'm sorry about that. I forgot the other actor's name that's in this. Yeah, Gas 90. That's who hosts the Gas 90. He tells his class about, oh, this is what happened. This was going on right now and everything. And he tells them like, hey, your best opportunity, your best chance is to manage one of these young white artists and get yourself hooked and get yourself signed. That's the best way for you to become like hot and still mentioned. So Al takes the advice. He tries to manage this one white guy that the dad told him to help out. The dad told him to manage him and everything like that. But the the other character, like I said, Malik's character is the one that ends up like getting him. Like I said, the Malik guy. He ends up being the one that ends up getting them and everything like that. So you beat me to the punch. He's like, yeah, I did. Hey, part of the game and all that. So Al instead tries to manage this other guy and everything. This cowboy dude, he tries to manage him and everything like that. They do a song together. He gets nominated for a Grammy and all that. But the kid ends up ODing, overdosing, ends up dying, everything like that. I don't know if that was a reference with him was a reference to Juice WRLD or something like that, dying or anything like that. But the kid ends up dying even though Al Mason gets nominated to the Grammys and ends up managing him and all that. So, like I said, the premise of the episode is kind of like that. Is how maybe you stay hot and everything like that. And also showing how the Grammys ain't us. They ain't really for black people and all that. Kind of showing Grammys not us for the most part. Not like how the BET Hip Hop Awards is always here right here in Atlanta. They finna host it, which comes on next week and all that. And they're doing a party right now for hosting the show live this weekend here in Atlanta. But how the Hip Hop Awards is more us and more for more us and more black people. Grammys is not really us. It's more for the white kids, white guys, and all that. Saying, of course, how he got nominated, how the white boys got nominated, and all that. Because somebody like Tupac, I don't think he's ever won a Grammy. Who's one of the best rappers ever. My top favorite rapper of all time. DMX, one of my top favorite rappers of all time. Never won a Grammy or anything like that. And even a hot rapper now, I talked about on my Sly Media sports channel. If you ever want to look into that, subscribe to that, Slime Media Sports / Hip Hop. But even talk about how Lil Baby, he's never nominated for a Grammy. He's really like the new leader, new voice of the new school and everything like that, new voice of the generation. So yeah, of course, it's like, the Grammys really ain't us, they ain't for us. And I guess this episode kind of showed that as well, of course, how the Grammys not, for black people and everything like that, about, you got to be signed to a white artist or, or more so like, manage a white artist and all that to get popping, to get recognition, to keep yourself relevant and everything like that. So that's pretty much how the episode ended. Good solid episode and all that. Even like they ended with the Kodak Black song. That was good, like I said. Donald Glover is really giving a lot of taste of the new school on this episode of Atlanta. Really, really is for the most part. Most definitely giving a taste of the new school for the artists on this show and everything like that. New school artists, I should say. Not new artists per se, but new school of artists, a new generation with the Kodak Blacks, the Chief Keef music all getting played in these episodes and everything on this TV show Atlanta. Really giving them more wider audience of recognition of, for the people that don't know about Kodak or the people that don't know about Chief Keef. Definitely giving them a wider audience and everything like that on national television. So I'm liking that he's doing that and all that. Not only, of course, I always say I like him, I always say he's from my hometown, but most definitely, of course, what he's giving, definitely giving the, new generation of artists a shot and all that for everybody to know them and all that, tap into their music. So, like I said, I like this show. I love it. It's entertaining. Definitely another good solid episode of Atlanta. And I'm going to keep on doing reviews on it. So, like I always say, if you like this channel, like the content, please don't hesitate to hit that like subscribe button. This is Slime Media. Like I said, next video I'm coming up right now. I'm finna announce some big news about Marvel and MCU, what they got planned. So y'all stay tuned for that. I'm finna do right here on Slime Media, talk about that, what Marvel has going on like I always do. You see in the back, I'm a big Marvel DC fan. So y'all stay tuned for that. I'm finna do my review on that. Do my reaction to what I just heard about what they got going on next. So y'all stay tuned for that. This is Slime Media. Like I said, I always say, enjoy life. You only got one life to live. Enjoy it. Y'all have a good night and be blessed.